Oh my god, we got a Doris cameo. Everyone's like, had a Doris. Hey guys, what is up? Soren back for another episode of Soren Says. I hope you liked the little cat cameo. Doris is a sweetheart. If you want to see more of her, let me know. We can post some more things about Doris. Today we're working on a poly fence. You know, the tutorial map has a lot of art assets, and so knowing how to make in Maya some of these simpler assets so that we can later put the whole thing together is a major step in making it a reality. So today we did a fence, and I wanted to look further into making it look really nice for like a portfolio piece. And so I was looking at some tutorials, but as many of you might know, if you've ever experienced tutorial searching, we ran into some hiccups, and you can't expect all things to be explained right away. You have to rely on some past knowledge, you have to rely on some problem solving skills, and so I'm going to keep working on it. We didn't get to do what I wanted. I wanted to put some snow, give it some new textures. That didn't work out, but I will try to do that in the future. In the meantime, I think it went really well otherwise, and it shows a little glimpse of the fun struggles and successes of doing this sort of work. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you have any more suggestions, I noticed that the drawing videos are doing a lot better than I thought. They just took a little bit longer, so that's good information. If there's any other content that you guys want to see more of, I could do more gameplay videos. I could do more of the poly stuff. I haven't done any writing stuff yet, and I don't know if I might do that. I might try that. I might not. This weekend's going to be a little weird, so I might use it as like a wild card time to check that out, but we'll see how that goes. I am starting a Twitter. I am working on the website. I started a subreddit, which I will put a link to down in the bottom. I've noticed there are a few new subs, but of course YouTube doesn't tell me these things. They don't tell me names. So how am I supposed to do shout outs if I don't know? So if you want to be shouted out, let me know and I'll put it in the outro. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys at the end.
All right, so a few videos ago, we did a kind of a rough poly map of the tutorial scene. And in order to make this look as good as possible, we're going to need to make the art assets for the different aspects of the game, or of the map. And so one of those assets, as you can see on the bottom left here, is a lovely fence, and we're going to need to do a fence. We're going to need to have fences. We're going to need to have buildings. We're going to need to have snowmen and snow mounds and characters. And so if we're going to do that, we're going to need to make each of these assets on their own. And so to start, we know we're going to want to set some stuff. We're going to want to make our we'll leave it in there. We're going to want to set up our little grid around the fence. I like to make a sort of box, essentially like a little cage to put it in. So we know it needs to be 2 units this way. We know it needs to be, hold on. We know it needs to be, I think we decided on 2 up, right? Till about there, which actually might end up being 1.5 up, right? Okay. And then we'll put this down here for 0.5. And then from there, we're gonna kind of build around the edge here. So this will be a 0. This will be a -1. This will be a 0. This will be a -1. And we'll do that one more time with a 2. Nope, nope, just a 1. Just a 1. All right, so this is sort of our reach here. Let's do, so now we have this little like little cage area that sets up what we want, right? So to start out, we'll take our guy and we will figure out what we need. We need 4 posts. We need about 8 nails, and we're going to want a long bar across. Now we have the choice of either making these modularly and only doing one at a time so we can cookie cutter it. I think for other projects that makes a lot of sense, especially if we kept it in the pixel art cut and paste style of functionality. But we want to make this look really nice, and so we may want to take this in a different direction. We may want to make this look like a satisfactory, unique to the environment piece of fence. For the sake of this video, we're going to try and do it the way it currently is, though. And so a big part of design is trying things out. Iteration is key. You want to keep trying until something works. And the moment you stop trying is when you stop innovating. So I'm going to do this at a 0.25 and a 0.15. I think that's a good start. Our fence is likely going to, so this is at a 1. Now let's actually make this slightly bigger. Let's make this a 1.5. Oops, that's not what I wanted. 1.5 on the Y. Move this all the way up to a 1.25. 0.25? Is that what we want? Is that connected? Yeah, that's connected. Okay, cool. As for position, probably want this at negative 0.15. Is that too far over? Maybe negative 0.1. Cool. Okay, probably want to move this forward a little bit. Maybe 0.2. Looks good, looks good. And then we'll just need to duplicate this a few more times. We'll do, let's see, this is at 0.1. And so we will do this one at 0.9, I think. No, 1.1, I think is accurate, to kind of square it off. And then we'll do 2 more. We might just do 1 more, honestly, at this size. I see this, and this is where iteration kind of comes into play. We want it to be inside these blocks. We are totally fine with the crossboard going across here and touching the edge here, but we don't really want these to touch the edge. So, and we can see in the image that there's a little bit of space between the post and the side. So it's possible we want these to be smaller, or we can just concede to the idea that we have one in the middle. And I think we're just going to concede to the one in the middle idea. Okay, after this, we're going to need to set up a crossbar. Let's see, we need this to be what is the width here? 0.25? No, it's the 0.15. This will be like our 2x4 style. And then this one's like wider than the ones underneath, like in the post. And so these, so the Y scaling is going to equate to the X scaling. And so this would be 0.25 would make it equal to the ones behind it. We want it to be a little bit smaller. So 0.2. No, we want it to be wider. That's the deal. Yeah. I want it to be like 0.4. I could type. And likely this one's going to be thinner as well. So we'll put this down to 0.1. Cool. Next, we'll probably want this to be 2 across. We will move it back a ways, move it to the side. This should put it at a 0.5. This should put it at, what is this? This is a 0.2, so this should be a point. That'll kind of give it the in the board vibe, so we might want to put it a little bit further out, but not that far out, I guess. Closer. Can we just do like 0.325. Cool. We want them to touch, but we don't want them to overlap like a fence. Excellent. So for the most part, we're kind of, we're done with the basic structure. We're going to want to then go in and bevel this, I believe is the term. So let's go up to our taskbar. We're going to go to this lovely, where is this? Mesh tool? No. All right, we got a bevel. It's Control B. And we're going to try it in the current settings. It's a little much. Let's see. We can set this as 0.25. That's a little better. The 0.25 makes it look a little nicer. But something I'm also noticing is before we even want to do this, these have a point to them. And so we're going to want to make an edge. Hold on, let's look at this from the front. We want to make an edge right in the middle, and then we'll go from the top. It's looking like that was a pretty good spot right there. Yeah. All right, and then from there, we're going to want to hit another one right in the smack dab in the middle of this one, and right in the middle of that one. So now what that's going to let us do, we're almost there. Almost there, I swear. I think I got one in the middle. Close enough. Okay. So now what this is going to let us do is we're basically going to be able to, that's definitely not what I wanted, grab these vertices and raise them up. Raise them up a little bit. All right. And then just the middle one, raise that one up as well. We can, what's the deal here? I think we have to do like the whole midsection like this to do what I want it to do. Yeah. And then just this middle. We're not going to do it a whole lot, just enough to kind of give it that point. And then from there, honestly, I think that's okay. I think that's fine. So that actually means that we need to redo these. So this is at 0.5, 1.25, and 0.2, 0.5, and the old one was this one. And then this is at negative 0.1, negative 0.1, and our old cube needs to go away. Cool. Now we've got a much like smoother thing going on. And actually, I missed a step. We're now going to go back and try to bevel this instead. which I think looks pretty good. We'll go back and do the thicker bevel now that we have a better view of what we want the thing to look like. That looks okay. Let's go in deeper and see if we like it or not. This has a weird curve to it right here, but I don't think, no, I think this looks fine. This looks fine. So now, again, we're going to duplicate and move to 0.5 and duplicate and move to -0.1, where we will then get rid of the old cubes. Whoops. Okay, so now we've got our three fence posts. Excellent. For this point, I'm going to remove our blocks here, kind of turn them off. This is not the most efficient way to do this, but I do not care because we want to take a look at the sides of our board here. So if you've ever dealt with a board, you know that the edges are not super uniform. And so we're going to want this to look a little jagged. And for that, we're going to make a multi-cut tool, which will allow us to kind of go from here to like here, from here to, oops, I'm gonna hit enter. And then from like here to here, move that in, enter, from here to like here. And then on the back, we'll do from here to like here. All right, and so what we can then do with this is we can obviously get off of our tool and remove some of these. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Maybe this is unnecessary. I'm doing this wrong. That's okay. We learn. We live and learn. So instead, I'm going to do here to here, and here to here, and here to here. Wait, did it do it? And then we'll meet these two on the other side. And so now we can go to faces. Whoops. I'm sad that when you capture Maya like a window, I'm noticing that it doesn't like to capture the windows that you're opening, like the menus and stuff. Like I'm opening up the mesh display right here and it doesn't show up. So we might want to switch to a display capture next time. All right, so we're going to surfaces. No, we're going to edit mesh and bridge, very similarly to very similar to what we did on the poly map. We're gonna get these two together and connect. No, not connect, merge. Merge is the correct term. And I believe we're gonna have to do something similar down here. We are not. Sweet. So that kind of gives it this feeling of like warped, like it's warped, you know? And I like it. I think it gives it a much more unique style. And we'll do something similar over here, which I guess if we really wanted to, we could also, this is just a different way you can do it, where you just move the vertices themselves. And so now we have this sort of imperfect board as our fence down a little bit. You know, because this is a schoolyard, but it's not like a rich school, you know. It's like, this needs to go back. And a lot of this is just tweaking. A lot of this is just, you know, going in and figuring out what you want your fence to look like. And so from here we have one major step left, and that is to also bevel this. Probably do it about the same. That way the wood kind of looks similar. Cool. And so the kind of basic shape of the fence is pretty much done. And so now we're going to add a little bit of details. Before we continue though, I am going to start renaming these. Like this is the frame. We'll do frame 1. This is frame 2. And naming conventions are super important when talking about like doing things in Maya, especially if you go into anything with like animation and things like that. I remember taking a course when I worked with rigging, and having certain elements of your scene be named properly is the difference between a project going smoothly or not. And especially with a lot of moving parts like this, you want to make sure that you're not only naming things but also consistent with your naming. It's gonna save your job. Or if it doesn't save your job, it will at least save someone else a lot of time. You know, because if you're on a team and you're the guy that makes everyone else's life harder, they're not gonna want you on a team. They're not gonna want you hanging around. You know, why? Because why would they? Why would you keep someone on that makes your life harder? You know, it's the last thing you want. And what is this? That's the thing we're about to work with. So normally I would be against using circular objects, complex polygons like circles and cylinders, because when you bring them into projects like ZBrush, it's incredibly difficult to transfer them. You know, you need to be able to redo the mesh so that you can send it over. Once Polygon vertices have like, I think it's like the cutoff is like 8 interconnecting edges, it gets really weird and you can't really sculpt with it. And so if you're planning to bring things in to ZBrush or something later, or some other painting program like that, I recommend starting your project with the understanding that it needs to be simple. As for our purposes here, and for this project though, we likely aren't going to we're not going to bring this fence into ZBrush, at least not anytime soon. And if we do, I can come back and change this. Set all of these to 0.1. I think 0.1 should be about where we want it. Move this over. We're making the screws holding it on. Let's rotate this 90 degrees on the X value. These are probably too big. Well, actually, they might be like the exact size we want. We want 2 of these, so they are a little big. They are a little big, but not by much, not by much. Let's line this up with the negative 0.1. Nice. And then this needs to be slightly smaller, so we'll do 0.05. It'll cut it in half, but when you're really, that's actually pretty solid. All right, this needs to be at the 0.65 spot, and then we'd also make this a little tweaked, right? We could make this 0.35. Wait, no, that's not right. Sorry, I had to answer a phone call real fast. I'm a busy man, all right? Got things going on. 0.36, I think we decided. That was a good spot. Okay. So from here, we can then do a second one, but have it be sort of to the side like this. So 5, right about there. That's not, we want a little bit lower than that. 4, nope, not that far. 1.45, and that looks like a pretty good placement for this. And so I think it's okay for us to do a similar one on this side, but then kind of do it differently on the middle one. So what I'm going to do is, can we do this? No. All right, just this one goes here. Just this one goes here. And then so let's actually, what does this look like if we bevel it the way we have been? That doesn't look too bad. It kind of adds. Let's actually look at what this does. So right now we've got this crazy smooth half circle, and if we bevel it the way we have been, it kind of looks a little polygon status. We have to decide if that's what we want. I think something that does, yeah, it does it for every single edge, and that's a little weird. We don't want that. If we go back and fix this up the way that we talked about, where we want it to go into ZBrush and all that, we may need to do something similar to that. But for now, we just want to tweak this, make it look a little informal. It'll look like someone who loves their family but doesn't have a college degree put this fence together. You know, that might have been a little too harsh for some people. I apologize. I'll make that one a little bit tilted, you know, longer. This one a little bit shorter. So let's bring our frame back in so that we can see if this is going to work or not. So move this one. Yeah, and do the bolts line up? They do. Cool. And so now we have this. Let's keep just the bottom ones. We also need this one to be off. All right, and so now we have this lovely fence. It's, you know, obviously it's not like super realistic or anything, but it definitely gives a little bit of character. This needs to be slightly longer and moved downward so that it doesn't, we were seeing the beveling on the bottom. We don't want that. We'd rather have it sticking into the ground than to stick out like that. And so now we have this really fun little fence. Other things we could do to this are, I don't know. We could go a little bit further than this. We could give the floor a texture. You know, we could maybe we'll do that. Let's take a look. We've got, hold on. Before I do that, I'm going to switch this to a display capture. So 1 sec. Okay. So that'll give us a little better understanding of what's going on. I'll keep it like this from now on. And so we want to switch to, before anything else, we need to save this. We're going to save it in the same project as our overall map so that we can import it very quickly. And then if we need to change anything, it's more localized so that we know where everything is and we're not hoping that we haven't accidentally deleted something in a different folder, that sort of stuff. We don't want that.